Right. So today, for this podcast episode, I have Yinka, and I'm so excited to have a conversation with you. Welcome to a collective conversation.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to chat.
Yay! So, in this conversation, we're going to be talking about wealth, money. We're going to be talking about abundance, and I know it's something that's really important to you and something that you support people with. And you have this lens on cash flow, and I'm curious what made you choose cash flow as your kind of focus. Yeah.
Great question. Okay, I didn't choose cash flow at all. Cash flow pretty much torpedoed its way into my life. And before it torpedoed its way into my business life, it was torpedoing its way into my life in many different ways beyond before that point.
Hmm.
So I often talk about the my journey into working in business. So my role now is as a business strategist, supporting women to create wealth in and through their businesses. But that wasn't where I started in business. I started by stepping into the business that my mum was running, because she was diagnosed with breast cancer and she was really fighting for her life. We didn't have a history of breast cancer. My mum is the only of her siblings to have ever contracted it. My grandma was still alive and she hadn't had breast cancer either. And so you have a struggling business owner and a struggling business.
Mm.
And it was that tension of seeing her almost feel like she needed to choose between her money and her life
Oh,
that
wow.
made me step out of my career. I was an investment banker before that point,
Mhm.
and I stepped out of my banking career and I went to support her in her business.
Mm.
And the famous last words that I arrived with is, I understand finance. How hard can business be? The answer is very freaking hard.
Yeah.
I laugh now at the level of ignorance that I had about business, even though I came from a financial background.
Mm.
And so
That's interesting. Yeah.
yeah, it's not even similar. But what I also discovered when you have a struggling business and a struggling business owner,
Mm.
you don't have time for faffing around. You
Mm.
really have to, like, the boots have to hit the ground and you need to get going. And so, in seeking help, so after I discovered it was going to be harder than I thought, I went to seek help as anyone could because the stakes were so high. I couldn't afford for my mum to worry about the
Mm.
business when she needed to worry about herself. So we
Mhm.
started seeking help to grow the business. And honestly, the support that was out there, even till today, I feel very strongly that there is a huge problem in the business development industry,
Mhm.
given the statistics on business failure rates.
Mhm.
If the purpose of a business, if the purpose of business support is to help businesses grow and succeed and thrive, then why are 65% of businesses that are registered gone in 3 years, 90% in five, and 99 in 10?
Mhm.
So that tells us that business development, as it was in that, it's not working.
Mhm.
You are not
Mhm.
developing those businesses. You're taking the money, but
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
not
yeah.
developing the business. So
Mhm.
I discovered that, and we did, we paid a bunch of cash to lots of different trainings and courses and masterminds and inner circles and all of those kinds of things. And I cannot say that I didn't get value. I got immense value, but what I didn't get was the knowledge and information about what keeps a business in business no matter what.
Mhm.
And that is where that the answer to that specific question, what keeps a business in business no matter what, the answer to that is cash flow.
Mhm.
And so when I tripped up and discovered that, I was like, why is nobody talking about this?
Mhm. Mhm.
Why are there 30 million different branding, branding conversations, branding support courses? Why are there amazing get more clients, get more leads, get more anything other than cash? I was like, what sense does that make when cash is the thing that we need?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so I was like, okay, well, I there's a reason why no one is talking about this.
So
This is
what do you think the reason is?
well, I'm gonna come back to that in just a second. But
Okay.
I figured that there's only two reasons why people don't talk about things when you discover something yourself.
Hmm.
You have just stumbled across the most novel, brilliant, incredible, brand new idea,
Hmm.
or everybody knows this and people are not touching it for a purpose. And with cash flow, is definitely number two.
I was
So
gonna say.
yeah, I'm gonna circle back on that in a
Yeah.
second. But yeah, so I began my business. My passion was to help women in business, and to be honest, that in and of itself is its own story because I've always been very much a guy's girl. Like I was a tomboy. I had male friends. I wasn't really about women and girls. I
Oh,
have
okay.
like interesting, yeah. I wasn't, and so when I felt called and compelled to work with women, I resisted massively. I was like, that's you can talk to yourself because you better not be talking to me.
And
um,
what made you feel like you were kind of called to that? I'm just curious.
Well, my mum's story has a big part to play in that, but even my journey to support her business, I
Mm.
kept stumbling across those that I fondly refer to as Chad and Brad. And Chad and Brad kept saying things like, well, just work harder, just do more. If it's not working, it's because you don't want it enough. And I'd go to these events and I'd be spend most of the day looking forward at these men on stage
Mm.
and they're doing brilliant things and they're saying brilliant things. But then at the end of the event, I'd walk out and I'd go to the back of the room, and that's where their wives were, who were like standing there with like bottles of water and lunch and a massage thing, and I was like, these guys are fully experiencing the wife at home effect, and then making
Yeah.
out as though their brilliant offer is the thing that is building their business. No, your wife creating mental, physical, emotional, and all
Mm.
the other types of runway in your life is actually what is building your business, and you're acting like that has no bearing whatsoever, and that gave me the rage. I was like, you've got this
Yeah.
huge advantage that you are not declaring,
Uh-huh.
and you are ignoring your massive privilege, and
But
I'm
that,
sick.
but that's the whole of society, isn't it? It's kind of that's how it's kind of structured. And that massive privilege that you've just mentioned there, you know, it's yeah, it's like we can all see it, but all that support, all of the things, all the extra bits that it takes. That's just reminded me. I remember I had a boyfriend. Well, actually, it was my fiance, but we ended up not marrying. Anyway, look, that was a long story. A while ago.
But
We
yeah,
won't linger on that. Yeah.
just to wrap up on that really specific point. So,
Oh,
I
sorry.
started a business focusing on helping women actually do better in their businesses.
Hmm.
So many women came out to find me and said, we'd love to work with you. We don't have any money. And I
Yeah.
was like, what do you mean you don't have any money? You're an entrepreneur, you make money.
Hmm.
And they were like, well, how? I was like, what do you mean how? What are you doing now? Like, I thought this was a very obvious outcome and intention of running a business.
Hmm.
And they were like, well, no, like money comes when it comes. And I was
Hmm.
like, no, money comes when you go and make it.
Hmm.
So that was the genesis of the work that I do now, where I focus on helping women to make, manage, and multiply their cash flow. But it was a real mental shift for the women that, as I said, came to me for the other work that I actually love and want to do, which is about business growth and support. But there is no business growth without cash flow underpinnings. So I was
Yeah.
like, well, there's no point trying to help the middle of the cake or the middle of the house. We have to go back to the foundations, and that's how I got started in cash flow.
Ah, brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, yeah. And when you were saying about the Brad and Chads, I remember this ex-partner who had a business, and I remember his sister saying to me, Yeah, well, but mum did all the work in that business. Do you know what I mean? So there's this whole culture of not acknowledging all of that support and all the aspects of actually what it takes to,
100%. And
run a
the thing
business.
is that when women run businesses, the world doesn't wait for women to run businesses. Even when there is a scenario where the man is the primary carer for the child,
Hmm.
please do not think for a second that that woman is exempt from life admin because she's not.
No, no.
9 out of 10 times, she will still be the person who has to remember, the birthdays, do the Christmas shopping,
Mhm.
remember, so and so's play date, and society judges women in a very specific way around parenthood, motherhood,
Yeah,
and wifedom. And so, even
yeah,
when the man is the primary carer or the primary, person in the home, that doesn't it doesn't express itself in the same way as when a woman does that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so it just that as I said, the story of my life is realize something, get the rage, and then decide to do something about it, and that's how Cashflow
I
came in.
love it. I love it. Get the rage. Do you know, I think we're so also, women are so conditioned as well to support and not ask for anything for that. And I'm going to use my emoji here. I'm going to use the fire emoji because I love that get the rage. You know,
So important. Rage is such a powerful emotion, and it's so interesting because men perceive themselves to be less emotional than women because they don't perceive as anger as an emotion.
mm,
Men are as, if not more emotional than women, but they ignore anger as an emotion. So it's yeah, I find rage really fascinating, mostly because as women and girls, we're socialized out of doing it, but it
yeah,
it, it
yeah.
comes with so much power.
Hmm.
Everything I've gotten angry about, I have created incredible solutions for because I use that rage as fuel. And so I think it is a social construct to stop women from tapping into their rage. So it stops them from really harnessing their power.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's so interesting. And you've talked about your business life, but I know that you're a mum as well, aren't you? So
Um,
I know you totally get it with, when you talked about the life admin and all the stuff. So yeah, I know you totally get it as a mom. So just tell us a bit about like what's your kind of setup in terms of family life. So
yeah,
have an idea.
so my husband and I, we've been married now, coming up to 18 and a half years. We have 3 sons. We're based in South London, um, where where house prices are just like comical jokes.
Hmm.
And a parking space in this South London area costs more than like a house in like Humberside or something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The great thing about that though is that it really taught me early on about the way that money is perceived and the way that money is engaged with
Mhm.
and what people believe to be true or false about money, not realizing that money is what we agree it is, as opposed to something that is solid and factual and immutable. That's not the case at all.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I love that because a big part of having a different relationship, well, it's a big part of creating cash flow and wealth and abundance and all of those things is changing our relationship, isn't it? With money and
100%.
how we perceive it.
Yes, and mainly how we perceive it in relation to ourselves. So the
Mm,
reason why when I discovered what I did about cash flow, I actually decided to stick with it and to really get into mastery is because cash flow is a window. It's
mhm,
a mirror.
mhm,
And it gives us the opportunity to look at how we are perceiving ourselves
mhm,
and what our relationship with money and cash flow will tell us is where we are, overlooking our own power, where we are living from past stories, where we are allowing our inner child to drive the bus, where we are leaning into learned helplessness and hopelessness. And so it's a really, even though it seems a very narrow focus, it's the richest of all focuses because money is the thing that touched all of us and touches all of our lives all of the time, no matter what.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And with this talking about this kind of changing our perception of it and a kind of relationship with it. Um, so I've been doing a bit of work on money recently, and I did this visualization, which was so powerful actually, in terms of it shifting how I kind of perceived it. And I I thought I knew what money is. Money is energy, and it is an amplifier, isn't it? It kind of amplifies, like you say, where you're at, what your mindset is, all of that, and who you are. Like when people have more money, then they do more of the things that they naturally want to do with that money, right?
Mhm.
Um, so, and I know people can end up thinking that money is evil or money is like money's just money, isn't it? And it's like, yeah,
It's
it's
a
it's
tool,
us.
it's a resource, choose the
Yeah,
metaphor of choice. But
exactly.
money is, as I often say to the women I work with, money is the very best servant you will ever have and the very worst master. So
Mm-hmm.
it's never meant to be in charge. It's never meant to be the boss. It's always meant to act in service of somebody or something or someone who understands it. But again, money's like a lazy teenager, man. Money like loves ease, loves speed, will go where it's welcome, will shun where it's not.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it is a really powerful, ubiquitous, it changes format and shape. Yeah, it's the best resource. It's the reason why when I'm all about the money so unapologetically. I am gathering as much as I possibly can, and I'm going to put it to the things that matter to me. And I'm really excited to be on the journey to do that and to help other women do the same.
That is brilliant. I love that. I love that. Yeah, because to do things, and like you say, I think living where you live with house prices and all that stuff, it forces you to have to generate money to be able to just, live, a fair amount of money because of what things cost.
Mhm.
Um, so in a way, that's been a bit of a gift, hey, being in that
Yeah,
environment.
and I mean, I think. I'm always minded that everything happens for us, not to us.
Yeah,
So whatever that is, it's for me. And
yeah.
so when, I went to university in Manchester and I'll never forget, like when I got up to Manchester and like you see the house prices, you see rents, you see the cost of food and living. And I was like, wow, this isn't, I could have stayed in Manchester. I really could.
Mhm.
Um, it was a great city. I love it. Yeah, it was just a vibe unparalleled. And I also know that I wanted to go into banking, which I need to come back to London for, but I knew that I never wanted to be a slave to money, which
Mhm.
is why I went into banking. I went into banking to learn about money, and I didn't learn a thing about money until after I was done with banking. I learned finance.
Interesting.
I
Ah.
learned so much finance, but finance is only 5% of money. Like, and that's part of my work, and it always makes me smile because, as you can imagine, I meet people who are excellent at finance all the time.
Mm.
I'm not going to tell them they don't understand money, like, but they don't. They really don't, and I know that because I hear the way they speak. I hear the actions I see the actions they take. They're still as afraid of money as someone who's broke. They're still confused about the nature of money and who is in charge. And they are still seeking money for safety and security when there's none to be found there.
Hmm.
Money doesn't make you safe. Money doesn't make you secure. And the thing is that if as long as you continue to pursue that line, you will be forever looking for love in all the wrong places. And
Mm.
so it's yeah, as I said, I'm not gonna be the one to do it. When I
Yeah.
just said
So
about
where
money,
do you feel and I'm going to swing back to money being a lazy teenager because I love that, by the way. I just want to just like I love that analogy. So where does the security and the safety come from?
great question. And the answer is it's innate. So if depending on your paradigm of
Mhm.
belief, my paradigm of belief is God. So I believe that we are created A for a purpose and B in his image, but the it is for us to know that safety and security is an inside job.
Yeah.
And
And
so
that's the words that were in my head. I was thinking, well, I mean, I've asked you a question that anticipate the answer for, but yeah, it's got to come from inside, hasn't it? It's got to come from within us, and whatever higher uh energy, purpose, being, whatever that people is, within their beliefs. But that was one of the things when I did that visualization, I was like, what I landed in was that money is divine. And I was like, whoa.
it is.
And it shifted my perception. And I thought I knew about money being energy and stuff like that. But that was almost like surface level. So this is kind of dropped in for me really recently. Um,
Oh, it totally
and
is.
it was
It's like
it
this
felt so huge.
most powerful, as I said, like expansive. It is the
Mm,
ultimate, like there are so many things that money helps you to believe in and concepts that it helps you to money is like water.
mhm,
So if you put water in a round cup, or in a round vase, it will take the shape of the round vase. If you put it in a tall cup, it will take the shape of the cup. Money does the same.
mm,
Money in the hands of someone who wants to see good in the world does incredible things in the world. And money in the hands of someone who is a shady, shyster, terrible human does terrible things. So
mhm,
that level of being able to shapeshift is
mhm,
something that is not common in from a physical world perspective. It's not a common trait. And
mhm.
so this is why water is so precious, but money is too. And the
Yeah.
thing is that you're like money 100% is it is one of the biggest gifts that we've been given. But it's so interesting how we use it to proxy what it isn't meant for. So money is
Mhm.
brilliant at what it is good at, but it is terrible at what it was never intended for. So one of
So
the things I
can you
often
give an
share,
example
yeah, one
of
of the
what?
things I often share, money is fantastic to help us to exchange. The whole reason that money was invented was because trying to work out how many cows of yours and how many goats of mine we need to swap to make it fair is a drama.
Mm,
And so we invented money to make exchange easier. Amazing. So money is great at exchanging value. That is one of its highest and most powerful intentions. What money is terrible at is quantifying the value of humans. And yet we
mm,
spend all our time trying to use money to quantify the value of humans. Money is not the metric to help us to understand the value of humans. If in monetary terms, humans are priceless. So,
yes.
and every
Yeah.
human is priceless, and every human is equally priceless. So, what's the purpose of using money to try and measure that? And
Hmm.
yet, because we're like, oh, we can use money to count the value of bottles or of apples, and then we're like, of people, and we're like, no, 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 like,
Mm,
don't get it twisted.
mhm.
And so, for me, I always remind the ladies I work with that we use money and we use money to proxy abundance, but I'm really clear that money is a man-made invention and abundance existed long before money ever did.
Yes. Yeah.
And so
That's
we
true.
cannot continue to allow our money and what's in our bank account to make it seem as though we can't access abundance if we don't have it, because abundance predates money.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
abundance is so much more expansive than money. And
Mm.
you can have no, like two, three generations ago, our ancestors were, farmers and, doing, they had so little money,
Mhm.
but the quality of the soil that they grew their food in, the quality of the lives that they lived, the quality of the meals that they ate. Like, yes, there was hardship, famine, pestilence, all of those things.
Mhm.
But are you genuinely telling me that they didn't have abundance? Of course they did. What
Yeah.
were they
Yeah.
fighting for? All these wars all over, like, and so it's so important for us to not get distracted
Mhm.
by inaccurate um, insights and inaccurate perceptions of money.
Mhm.
And one of the most inaccurate perceptions of money is that, like, finance is like being good at finance makes you good at money. No, it does not even a little bit.
Mhm.
Take it from someone who studied them both.
So what would your tips be for people who want to get good at money rather than finance being that
Yeah.
5%? Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. So,
Yeah.
for someone who wants to get good at money, the first step with getting good at
Or
anything,
money flowing, I suppose.
yeah, well, that's the thing, is understanding what money is, what it does, and what it's for.
Hmm.
So, understanding what money is, as I said, it's a tool of exchange. What it does, it makes that exchange easier. What it's for, it is for helping us to exchange value, and therefore, there's an adage that we use that is so false. You've got to spend money to make money. No, you don't. Of
Nah.
course you don't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because before there was money. And that's what I mean. Like, let's go
Yeah.
back to first principles. So, being willing to go back to definitions and first principles is always step one, because you will never treat things how they are. You always treat things how you believe them to be.
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
even if you go and get all the rest of things right, if you actually have an inaccurate definition of what money is, what it does and what it's for, you will always go left when you should go straight.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's step one. Step two then is, sounds like a very strange step, but once you've decided to learn what money is, you're going to come up with against things that you're going to be like, this is so obvious. How did I not see this before? And so step two is going to be really to lean into curiosity and forgiveness.
Hmm.
Most people don't want to do the money work because it butts up against how, things that are really obvious. When you look into I was so many times I was like, duh, Yinka, how did you miss this?
Uh-huh.
And so
Yeah.
really leaning into self-forgiveness of what you didn't know before,
Hmm.
self-celebration that you've gotten to where you are now, and
Hmm.
then deciding to move forward with curiosity to find out more
Yeah.
is been, a really powerful second step. And then the third step is then make a decision to go on a new journey. And you can go on that journey alone. I will never tell anybody that it's not possible. I
Hmm.
decided not to go alone because I don't like wasting time.
Hmm.
I'm very much clear in my mind that I will always have more money to make because money is abundant and money is everywhere, but I don't get more time. So
Hmm.
I'm like, all of the years that I am not like ridiculously wealthy is time I'm never going to get back. So I'm like minded that I want to get to ridiculously wealthy as quickly as possible. So, and I know that one of the fastest ways to accelerate any journey is to tread the path of people who've gone before, who have what you need and know what you don't. So
Hmm.
I'm always, I will always pay for help. I will always, and that's the thing, people often say when they hear me say that, they're like, you would say that you help people with money. I'm like, no, 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 let me stop you there. There is no amount of money that anyone is going to pay me that I'm not paying more to other people to help me. Like, you
Hmm.
can come or not. I don't need your specific cash. Money's everywhere. If it's not going to be you, it's going to be someone else. But it's for me, it's for my journey. I'm constantly investing to ensure that I am going up the ladder that I am climbing, which is my purpose and my focus, because time is the most precious of all gifts. And it's so interesting how we treat our time the way we treat our, when we treat our time the way we should treat our money, and we treat our money the way we should treat our time.
Ooh, say that again. So everybody can hear that. That's a powerful one.
We treat our time the way we should treat our money, and we treat our money the way we should treat our time.
Mm. Wow.
Like money is everywhere. Money is abundant. Like honestly, there is
Yeah.
no shortage of all the money that you want in the world. There's no shortage.
Hmm.
But time is so precious and we fritter it away and we faff like as I said, when I wake up, I have such a sense of urgency because I know what money in my hands gets to do. I was speaking in a different space a few days ago because I received a letter from the sponsored child of my sponsored child. So I sponsored a child 20 something years ago. She went through education. She went to university, first person in her family to go to university. She now
Amazing.
has a job and now she has a sponsored child. So I got a letter from her from my sponsored grandchild. And
Oh, how
yeah, I'm like,
amazing.
as someone who doesn't have kids old enough to have children, it's a beautiful thing. It's the only place where I'm happy to be referred to as a grandmother. But it's just such a beautiful privilege to know
Yeah.
that sending cash on that assignment has changed the lives of so many people. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, more of that, please. More
Yeah.
of that all
Yeah.
day, every day. And so, as I said, every day that I am not stinkingly wealthy
Hmm.
is is a day when time is going and the purpose that I have is not being fulfilled in its fullest. We ain't got
Hmm.
time to waste. We ain't got time to waste.
And I love that. I love that. Now there'll be a lot of people. So I have a in my audience, I have a lot of people who are very, very caring and do a lot of like I have coaches and doulas and yoga teachers and all these people. And one of the things I notice is a lot of people that seem to be uncomfortable. And I know I'm on my own journey with this as well in terms of cash, money, and being more and more comfortable with receiving because, and circling back to the beginning of this conversation, and we will wrap up really soon, is, you know, it's it's not your fault if you're uncomfortable with money, if you're a woman, particularly because, you know, that's kind of how we've been brought up. Like it's a really
100%.
recent until we could even have our own money, that we could even like it's only like it's less than 50 years, isn't it, since we could have, our own bank account without the permission of a husband or a parent or something. So
100%. And so
quite
I would
recent.
definitely say you're absolutely right. It's by design.
Hmm.
Our relationship with money as a collective, as women, is by design.
Hmm.
And 50 years ago was when women could first get credit without co-signing.
Hmm.
And the reason why that's significant is because debt is the biggest wealth creation tool in the world. Now,
Mm.
isn't that interesting how many women are afraid of debt, who are socialized to not get involved with debt, who are like, oh my gosh, I don't have a credit card. I'm so amazing. I'm debt free.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, let's have a real conversation about that because it means that you lack leverage. It means that everything you want to do in order to create your wealth, you have to do yourself. It's literally built in hustle and struggle.
Mhm.
Men
Mhm.
don't have that same relationship with debt, which is why they're creating wealth and women are struggling and still dealing with hustle and hassle.
Mhm.
And so it's 50 years ago since women could get access to credit without a male cosign. 150, 250 years ago, women didn't even have the vote. Women weren't even considered like people. They were considered
Property.
valuable property.
Yeah.
And so our relationship with money has definitely been by design. And what I will also say is radical responsibility is real. So
Mhm.
even if everything, you're right, it is not anything that you were unaware of, it was not your fault.
Mhm.
And we live in an information age. YouTube is free, and therefore being ignorant is never a problem, but staying ignorant is a choice.
Mhm.
And it is a
Mhm.
choice that we need to reckon with. We are busy people. Like we're mothers, we're parents, we're wives. There's so many things to do, and
Yeah.
this may not be the top of your list. But what I will say is, as long as it's not the top of your list, it is holding back all the other things on your list.
Yeah.
because it is often said that money cannot buy you happiness. What I can say is that a lack of money buys you a bucket load of unhappiness. And I
Mm-hmm.
do not know a problem outside of the realms of feelings and love and all. I don't know a problem that money doesn't make better.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have. I like. There's always going to be somebody who can come up with a contrarian answer, and I respect that for you. Or I'm like, do you want to be right or do you want to be rich? Because when all said and done, like there isn't a problem in practical terms that more money doesn't improve.
Yeah. Yeah.
And therefore, why continue to keep yourself in a state of less money? And I know why. It's as I said, it's social conditioning. It's concerns about identity. It's not wanting to leave the pack. It's not wanting to alienate ourselves from those that we love and all of those things. But those are not things that are true. They
Mm-hmm.
are stories that we are told that we've been socialized into as people, as people that have gone through the school system, children of adults whose parents came through world wars. None of this is by accident, and we also have a responsibility to change um our focus, our experience, if we want it change. And that's the thing. If we want it change, it's our responsibility to change it. If we don't want it change, the question is why?
Mm-hmm.
Would
Mm-hmm.
you not want to take your one wild and precious life and live it to the max? If you are a caring, heart-centered person that wants to do good in the world, why would you not want more money to amplify your vision, to make your purpose available to so many more people, to literally wipe the tears away of the people who are currently crying, and you have the solution to their problem? Why would you not want that? And
Mm-hmm.
the only reason we wouldn't want that is because of what we've been taught about money, what we're carrying around in terms of what it is, what it means, what it does.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get to decide. And that's the beautiful thing. I am never about force. One of my highest values, apart from my faith, is the belief in freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I believe like freedom is one of our biggest gifts, but you know what? The price of freedom is eternal vigilance. The
Mm-hmm.
idea that you get it and it's done is not real. If
Mm-hmm.
you want freedom, you want to keep freedom, you need to be alert and you need to be aware.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, this is one of the things that I do and one of the areas I focus on to keep my freedom. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want people I'm very bad at doing as I'm told. I don't want people to tell me what to do. And I know that one of the things that helps me to be in that position is to be a person that not only has the money that I want, but that can make the money that I want. So that if I don't have the money that I want, I know how to make it. I would not be without that skill. I don't want my kids to be without that skill. And I honestly don't want any woman to be without that skill, which is why I do what I do.
Amazing. I love it. I love it. And yeah, I knew you'd have a powerful response to that because it is so it is so important. And I love your passion in this purpose. Um, and when you were talking about one thing, and I think one of the things people mention that money can't buy is like your health, love, and things like that, and your health, which is but it makes it easier to have treatment to look after like the position you were in supporting your mum
100%.
and her business and everything, going through that journey.
Both my parents have had health challenges over the last, couple of years. Thankfully, my mum is healthy and well. My mum
Hmm.
is like rudely looking like younger than ever. Like she's literally Benjamin buttoning. Like every time you see her, but that's what money did. Yes, we live in a country with a national health service, but the National Health Service is incredible. And again, as the sibling of a doctor, I would never have a bad word to say about it. But the NHS treats cancer. What happens when cancer has ravaged your body, your mind, and your confidence?
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
they don't deal with that bit. And I tell
Yeah.
you what does deal with that bit, money.
Hmm.
When my father had significant health challenges and almost died, it
Hmm.
was money that saved his life. It's been money that's helped his recovery. It's been money that has kept him. It's money that does all of it.
Hmm.
And so we have to even the idea that, oh, I don't want to deal with the money or I don't, it's a privileged position.
Hmm.
It's a bit, you are privileged because I've never heard, for example, someone is home who is homeless or unhoused or whatever language you'd like to use in that regard. I've never heard them say, I'm not about the money.
Hmm.
Never heard it. And the
Hmm.
reason I've never heard it is because they respect and understand that they don't have the privilege to be that way.
Yeah, yeah,
If
absolutely.
you are not about the money, it's because you have the privilege of someone paying for your lifestyle. Lucky you. What about the next person?
Hmm.
I already have more money than I am ever going to spend in my lifetime. Actually, maybe okay, I can still do more, but whatever. I have enough money for me. But then it's not about me.
Yes.
It's about
And
all of those
can I
kids.
just pause you on
Yes, go
that?
ahead.
It's so true because
Yeah,
it's not about you, it's not about me. And the people listening, it's not about you. It's about, like, I feel like we're all
all of the
here to
people
do
that you can
something. We're like,
help.
we've all come with some gifts that we're supposed to be sharing with the world, right?
100%. The best
So it's
metaphor
not
I've
about
ever
you,
heard on this,
you know.
yeah. The best metaphor I've ever heard about this is a tree.
Hmm.
Look at a tree. Look at an apple tree.
Yeah.
An apple tree grows apples. The apple tree doesn't eat apples.
Hmm.
An orange tree doesn't eat oranges. Everybody walks past and picks the apples off the tree and enjoys the fruit of that tree's labor. And we're the same. We're blessed to be a blessing. If the
Yeah.
blessings stop with you, you're only on half of the mission. And
Oh, I
so,
love that. I love that, that you are blessed to be a blessing. I
yeah.
hope
And so
that's
if you're not a
landing with
blessing,
whoever's listening, you know.
right,
Oh my gosh.
you're not
I
a bucket.
absolutely love that.
You're a vessel. So
Yeah.
let the blessings flow through. And that for me is about the money too. It
Yeah.
always, I'm not gonna lie, it gives me the bit of a rage again when I see such brilliant women doing amazing stuff, and
Hmm.
yet they won't deal with the money piece. And
Hmm.
I'm like, you will forever be trying to do good with your left hand and then but being held back by your right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, no,
So,
let's not do that.
yeah. So there comes a time when I think we all have to, like it did for you, like it is for me at the minute, you know, when we have to, like, face these and do some work. Oh, I mean, we don't have to, like, lots of people won't, right? But that there comes a time, especially if you want to help a lot of people, then you know we've got to deal with money. We've got to educate ourselves. We've got to learn how to be with it, work with it, and have it flowing so that we can share what we're here to share with the world. And yeah, it's been amazing listening to you, and you you talk about this all the time, so you're so fantastic at with your gorgeous metaphors. I love the lazy teenager because it does like the easiest path to come in, doesn't it? It really loves the
Ways.
easiest way to flow.
Ways. And the thing about it is that this is another, my new brand is focused on being rich and rested. And so
Mm.
many people have felt that to be a very triggering concept, almost like it is disrespectful to think that you can be rich and not be hurried and hassled and hustled and
Well, it's the
or
work
you can
hard
be
thing, though, isn't it? Like, it's like we've got to be working hard to be worthy to have the money
a
coming,
hundred
right?
percent.
Yeah,
Again,
all of
looking for
that.
love in all the wrong places. You can't work your way to worthiness because you can't hustle your way to your worthiness because your worthiness is innate.
Yeah.
And so, in that regard, we also have um, the opportunity to really consider a new paradigm. And whenever I'm thinking about money, money flows best when we are rested. When rich and rested, they aren't opposites. They're literally the same coin, two sides of exactly the same coin. But the
Mm.
thing is that because we have grown up watching the masculine paradigm of wealth creation, we
Mhm.
think that it's hustle to rich. And I'm not suggesting there is no work. I cannot promise you that. And I don't promise things I can't deliver on. But what I can say that is that there is in this age, we're living in the best possible time in human history as it relates to accessibility to wealth, to money, to creating something new, to starting from scratch, from testing, failing quickly, creating like it's never been better for us.
Mm.
And therefore, rich and rested is something that is so available to us, but it's also what money loves best. Money will always flow where it is most welcome, where it is most accessible. And if it does, if the situation arises where money isn't welcome, it will leave. It's as simple as that. And so I'm always laughing at because I two of my sons are teenagers,
Mhm.
so I just they remind me of money. They will do the easiest thing. Like my one of my kids can be starving but won't eat unless you cook because he can't be bothered to make any food. Like, and he'll be like, "Oh, I'm starving." As soon it's not even finished, it's still cooking, and he's like, "Oh, I'm starving." And I'm like, but why didn't you make any food? No, no, can't be dealing with that. Like extra effort, don't be daft. And it makes me laugh every time because I'm like, money's the same. Money wants ease, wants speed, could give a damn about friction,
Mhm.
and will
Mhm.
always go. And that's the thing. It's not moral. Money doesn't decide, oh, you're a good person, let me come to you, you're a bad person. Money goes to
Goes
where
where it's
there is
wanted.
least friction.
Yeah, yeah. Where it's welcome. Yeah, yeah. It's interesting because I always think, or particularly at the moment, I always think of money as being quite feminine, actually, in terms of its energy. And that's given me another perspective as well, Yeah.
Funny, I've never given it a gender. Yeah, I don't. I'm going to explore that. I've never thought of
Mm.
money as a gender. All I've thought of it as, and again, I'm one for metaphors because I spent much of my life in church listening to pastors using metaphors to help us to remember things. But
Uh-huh.
I just, money, it is our job. If we're so minded and if we're truly on a mission to make change in this world, then we are the general of the mission. And money is part of your soldiers. And you send your money on assignment and your money fulfills your wishes.
Hmm.
And it really is as simple as that for me. So I often talk about sending your money on assignment. And the most powerful assignment that you will always send your money on is to build your most important asset, which is you.
Hmm.
So investing in yourself is one of the most powerful ways that you strengthen that army, that you amplify that mission, that you accelerate to outcome. It's a vibe. I really like that.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for coming and having this conversation. I've really enjoyed talking to you, and I've really enjoyed, yeah, like getting another perspective and new metaphors and some old metaphors and all of that stuff. Um, and I know that it's going to be, I'm interested in how this lands with my audience because I suspect some people will find it a little bit difficult, because um yeah, because of those old stories. And that's the first one of the first things we have to do is like get past these old stories and just see them for what they are.
Beautiful
Yeah.
thing. I often say our triggers are our teachers, and money will always trigger us because there is always another level.
Yeah.
The problem being triggered is never an issue. The
Hmm.
question is, what do you want to do with what's triggering you?
Yeah. Yeah. Like what's the lesson in that, what's it teaching us? And it's the same with our kids, it's the same with so many things.
Isn't it just?
Yeah. So there's so many correlations. So thank you so much for coming and having this conversation today. It's been amazing to talk to you about this. And yeah, so I will be sharing this on this new series, the Collective Conversations. So it'll be going out on my podcast, going out on YouTube. I'll be sharing it with my people, and I'm sure you'll do the same. And yeah, I think this conversation is so important. I think um it's not my mission to support people with money. I am doing some stuff around money, and what I've always done with anything that I'm learning is like I am, a bit neurodivergent, so I tend to do things with other people. Like if I am doing something, let's do it together because when
100%.
I'm with other people, and I take people with me, it keeps me accountable,
Yeah. And
and this kind of
I will
body doubling aspect is great.
yeah, I will challenge you there where you said it's not my job to help people with money because what I
Well,
will say is that you are. You are
I already
by
am, yeah.
by opening a conversation, by being willing to think about things differently, by um yeah, by running a business, you absolutely are going to help people with money because a business needs money. You're not going to do your work for free. And
No.
so there are going to be many ways. It may not be your primary mission, but that
I
doesn't,
suppose that's what I was saying. This
yeah.
is your big mission is this, but it
Mhm,
is an aspect. And when I was looking at my business and what I'm doing with my business, having a way that people can earn money because I'm home educating now as well as all the other roles, right? And I come across lots of people who are single moms, home educating, trying to run a business, trying to do all the things, right? Supporting neurodivergent kids, all the stuff going on. And so it's really important that we have ways to generate money and generate wealth. And so, you know, helping people be open to
100%.
actually stop, let's be open to receiving this. Like,
100%.
you know, so in the many ways that we can be. So yeah,
100%. And I
yeah.
think your insight there, and even just the notion of making money, you'll be surprised how many people have never thought of that before because they are employees. So they don't make money, they do a job and money comes. And they
Mm-hmm.
don't know how it comes, and they don't know what is used to create it. They just know that their portion is paid like clockwork, every 2 weeks or every month, depending on how they're paid. And
Mm-hmm.
so again, I encourage you to give yourself a load of credit because you are talking in terms that many people have not even gotten to that stage yet. And
Mm,
actually, that these are the first steps,
yeah.
understanding that you have, for example, an employee mindset, and therefore you think about money as an employee rather than as an entrepreneur or as a money maker is a powerful step. When you go deep into employee mindset, you'll see how it will change your life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah. Because that is huge, and I suppose a lot of people won't even know that that's what's going on for them, right? So,
No, because it's like the story of the two little fishes who are swimming in the sea, and an older fish swims the other way towards them, and he passes them, and he's like, "Hi guys, like how's water?" And he swims off, and one of them looks to the other and says, "What's water?"
hmm.
And they're like, I was like, I don't know, because that's their normal. Water is what they're in. It's not. They didn't. It's like the air that we breathe. We don't
Yeah,
know what it's just part and parcel of who and how we're experiencing the life that we have,
yeah.
and we very much have our beliefs in that way. We
Hmm.
didn't get the chance to look at them. We didn't get the chance to distinguish or dissect them. They just are.
Mm,
But the fact is that a belief is a repeated thought. So anything you believe can be changed.
yeah, yeah. And we have to bring consciousness to that, which is why conscious parenting, conscious living, it's bringing the consciousness. Um, we have to have the awareness to make any kind of change.
So,
Yeah.
100%.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. We have talked way longer than I had intended, but I have loved this conversation and I know people will get so, so much from it. Thank you so much. Thank you
You
so
are
much.
so welcome. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.